The biggest upgrades of the year are making their way to Imola, one of the most important GPs every single season, as it is the start of the European leg of Formula 1 races. We're going to try and cover every team. There's plenty of upgrades that will be coming here. We do know a lot of fact, but there are rumors as well that I do want to talk about. It's the 7th race of 2025. It's kicking off Europeans' triple header, and it's always a upgrade frenzy in Imola, but why is that? Well, obviously the logistics of most of the teams being in Europe, it really helps out, and the cost of bringing upgrades to this race in particular helps out with this cost cap that we have. And it's an old school track. It's really tight, corners, gravel traps, and it demands a lot of aero and grip. With it being a qualifying formula this year, it's going to be very important that teams get down on these upgrades as quick as possible. But with the track having slow speed, medium speed, and even high speed corners, you can test out pretty much everything you've brought, whether it works or not. So right before I go into one of the most important GPs of the year, I wanted to thank you guys for support. Amazing per usual. You guys always make my day. It really helps me truly seeing you guys subscribe, like, and comment on the videos. I try to respond to everybody as quick as possible. If you're new here, please go ahead and subscribe. But let's get started. We're going to talk from the midfield and make our way up to the top 4 because each team has a little bit of something. I'm going to start with the teams that have the least amount of information, but I still think we're going to see some stuff here. So as of right now, Alpine and Williams have not actually given us updates on upgrades, but it would be a shock if we don't see something here from Alpine, as the team hasn't brought any upgrades this year. They definitely need an aero tweak or two, but it'll probably only be put on Gasly's car as Colapinto is coming in. Maybe teams are waiting for Spain as well, like these lower end teams that it won't cost them much if they don't bring an upgrade. So that's a possibility. We know Williams has changed pretty much all of their development for 2026 from January 1st. There are still some upgrades in the pipeline to give a little bit of car potential. I do know that they're pretty much only focused on 26, as that is a season that they expect to be up on the podium positions and winning, which is crazy to think. But when you look at a performance like Albon in Miami, Sainz was good too, but a couple of things cost him, like damage on the car and some, let's just say, miscommunications over the radio. That car is ridiculously fast. It's been running the same package pretty much the whole season. They've only tweaked the rear wing a couple of times. A great overall package. I think they're just going to do a bit of setup work throughout the season. They really want to put all their focus in 26. We won't see much from Williams. Maybe a Monza rear wing would be the most that I expect. But as of right now, nothing confirmed. But I still feel like they're hiding something. It can't just be a plain car the whole season. I don't think they're going to pull a Haas in 2021. Now, speaking of Haas, they are bringing a significant upgrade package in Imola covered by Motorsport IT. The goal of the package itself will be to mitigate the rebound problems. They've been having some issues, especially in the high-speed stuff with porpoising. And while they have improved, we still continue to see these problems. They're very inconsistent on some tracks, like in China. They had an amazing GP through Ocon and Behrman making his way throughout the whole grid. Their race pace is pretty solid, but their qualifying pace has always been lacking, and it's especially in the high-speed stuff where the car suffers the most. It's probably also that they've stuck with the same front suspension that the previous Ferrari had, and that car struggled in high speed. So possibly a mechanical issue, and we'll have to see how much this new significant package actually solves. As for RB, there is supposedly a huge floor upgrade, as well as some tweaks to the diffuser, which always go side by side. And there are rumors also of a front wing coming here. The team has slowed down a bit. In China, they were extremely quick, same with Japan, but since then, they've been a step behind their competitors. Williams has definitely been the midfield car, if you can even call it that. That has been turning heads. RB was that at the start of the year. They were very conservative on their approach in the winter season. This is supposed to be a pretty big upgrade to actually unlock a decent amount of performance. Let's see if it helps out Liam. He definitely needs it. And Isaac has been doing a good job. A very underrated driver in this season. You gotta give him props. And overall props to the RB team for making a very quick, consistent car, but it's just missing and lacking that little bit of downforce. Plus, it's also pretty draggy. As we saw in Jeddah, they were running a super small rear wing. It was pretty good in the race, but it cost them in qualifying. Now, talking about the team that famously brings downgrades consistently. It's going to be a big Imola and a couple of other GPs for the Aston Martin team. Now, note, this GP will bring the biggest upgrades, but Spain will bring some very important ones, which is coming very soon. And we could see a lot of front wing changes here just to actually comply with what's going to happen in Spain and see how the car is working without a very flexible front wing. This change is not as big as many people are making it out to seem, but it will make a bit of a difference. We've heard that a new front wing is coming for this GP for Aston Martin and floor tweaks which are necessary for the team. They brought some circuit-specific stuff, they weren't some big upgrades, but there's also been plenty of talk on the side pod design. They brought so many floors in 2024 and experimented a lot. Sometimes they say they understand the car, other times it's clear they have no clue what they're talking about. And this is from the new wind tunnel. We've been waiting for that. They've been constantly on the move using an old wind tunnel, sharing it with Mercedes, blaming really the data and no correlation. But now it's really important. If this fails, then I mean, it would be tragic for even 26 as well, because then they have no correlation from wind tunnel to track. It's been an ongoing problem ever since Dan Follows has been with the team. They have not been able to put an actual good setup with the car. And whenever they give a glimmer of hope, they end up showing how bad they are in the race. I mean, this Aston Martin car arguably is 10th in race pace sometimes, which is just insane. And Alonso is trying to drag this car. He has 0 points. I mean, just imagine a two-time world champion, the potential being wasted in this Aston Martin car. So I really hope they finally bring an upgrade, because I can't really call anything else that they've brought an upgrade. They've all been downgrades and have either made the car just be the same or worse in balance. Now let's go on to the top dogs, the big players, the top four. And arguably, Williams is now in that top 5, which is nice to see. We're going to talk about the fastest car, the rocket ship, the McLaren itself. What do we know? Is it bringing anything here to Imola? They had a 1-2 in Miami, and Stella has actually confirmed some updates for us. The car is so good everywhere. There is supposedly floor and diffuser tweaks for high downforce on this track. The car excels in pretty much every corner speed. They're not the best in high speed corners, but they're still extremely strong. On low speed, and traction matters a lot here in Imola, especially going through some of those really slow corners. This McLaren is going to be very strong here. I expect this to be an incredible track for them, but the team that I think could challenge them very well will be Red Bull. They brought a major floor upgrade in Miami, and Max said he's a bit conflicted on what he thinks. Miami is very specific on its track layout. It's very tough to judge because it's very unique corners. I mean, all of Sector 2 is nowhere else on the calendar. And while the car was extremely quick in Sector 1, it still wasn't able to eat the curbs like the McLaren was in Miami Sector 2. But there's more still coming here. A new front wing is expected, more in the floor edge, but we have already seen that on Max. It's just going to be added now to Yuki for Imola, and work on the nose as well from what I have heard. They did bring a new front wing in the beginning of the season, but with the tweaks coming in Spain, sometimes these teams are going to fast track it just a little bit to see if it works properly. And we could see some testing done from FP1 to FP3. Max has been pushing really hard with this car, doing a great job, but they're just missing that few bit of tenths. We know now with McLaren's brake trick, that's where they're gaining a lot of time, and really that race pace is just dominant in comparison to everybody else. But here, overtaking is hard. Red Bull has a big chance. Talking about Mercedes, now this is their biggest upgrade of the season for Imola. They also have stuff coming to Spain and Montreal. I'll talk about that in separate videos, obviously. But it's going to be a big focus on aero efficiency. The car itself actually has a pretty good amount of downforce. It's the lowest running car, believe it or not. And there will be a new floor brought by Mercedes and possibly a new rear wing, because they've been rocking the same one from the beginning to now. They're not very draggy, which is very good for them. And probably the car with the best overall balance. It's very predictable, very easy to drive. It's just missing those few tenths that it needs to really be able to get that P1 or P2 or P3 position really in qualifying. But in race pace, they're still missing it. Their rear suspension is another problem, just like Aston Martin, where they're flaring up those rears way too quickly, and it's costing them a lot in the race. They've really never gotten a handle on the mechanical platform in this regulation period. It's really only been Red Bull and McLaren, but let's hope that they can add a good amount of performance and compete regularly for P1 and P2. Last team we're looking at is Ferrari, and their updates went from being huge upgrades to now being pretty minor and nothing really crazy being brought to Imola. Fred Vasseur confirmed a small step of updates for Imola. Could this possibly be some tweaks to the floor and diffuser? We'll have to see, but they've delayed the package to Spain to possibly put it a little bit more in the wind tunnel correlated, and we've heard that the suspension platform that they have made is not giving them the performance that they want. If you actually put a side-by-side of the McLaren and Ferrari, you don't even have to be an engineer to see how much more extreme and aggressive the McLaren is in comparison to that of Ferrari. The anti-dive on the front suspension is another thing as well. I mean, they said in the wind tunnel that whether they actually put anti-dive or not, there wasn't really a benefit that they were seeing, which is kind of telling because, as you can see, the McLaren is extremely fast with a very extreme anti-dive and anti-squat suspension setup. And Ferrari supposedly did not see that, but this SF25 needs a lot of work done. Silverstone is really what they're calling their game changer, possibly because they're going to bring a suspension upgrade, which is something that's been needed on the car. I mean, Ferrari have really been the clowns of this season so far. I hope they improve because it's really, really odd seeing Ferrari be behind Williams. And while I do like Williams being up there, it's sad to see Ferrari just so far back. They were expected to win this year, and right now with the car that they have, there's no way they win unless they have a lot of good luck and 6 cars in front of them pretty much DNF. Imola is going to be wild. McLaren will probably still be king, but Red Bull is closing in. They're very close, and Spain could be that deciding factor. We're going to see Colapinto first into the car. There's a lot of exciting things to look out for. This GP truly is going to be fun, and with the amount of upgrades coming, it'll be super fun to cover it on Thursday, talking about everything. And I'll probably even do a Friday video just going over the upgrades and what they've really done to the cars. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What do you guys think? It's going to be a very interesting GP. Actually, our first set of C6 tires will be seen here. So drop a comment down below. Who do you think is going to benefit most? Please leave a like, subscribe. It would mean the world. And peace.